board. So feel free to use the chat. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to kind of intro this really briefly. Well, we'll try to be brief. And then I'm going to turn it over to Naomi, and then Naomi's going to turn it over to Lindsay. And if we can keep it, you know, decent time, then we'll have some time for Q&A at the end. All right. So before I start, I wanted to let you guys know of a couple things coming up. April 18th, mark your calendars, is Team Bingo. That is 1 week from today, April 18th, 8:30 Central, Team Bingo. So invite your people. It was super fun last time, and I can't wait for it again. Get them in that group so they can pick their numbers. The board is already up. You guys can play. I just won't pick a consultant as a winner. And then about a month from now in May, the week, I think it's going to be, Nicole, you can correct me if I'm wrong, like around the 18th of May, did I see, or 19th or whatever, there's going to be a clean with water challenge again. And you can, Nicole, feel free to like correct the dates on that. Is that everything?
19th through 22nd is what got posted.
Okay, perfect. 19th through 22nd. Thank you, Heather. So those are two team things coming up that I wanted you guys to know about. Mark your calendars for it. It's gonna be a really great time. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. And I'm gonna look at my notes here so I stay on track. So what we're gonna talk about tonight is social media. And Lindsay and Naomi and I wanted to kind of bring to you guys something really practical that we talk about social media a lot, and there's a lot of things that I share with you guys, but tonight we wanted to give you something really practical that you can walk away with tonight and go implement tomorrow. We're very, very excited about this. And I feel like Kristen Boss and I must be in the same just zone, because our word for 2022 was purpose, and her new book coming out is called Pivot to Purpose. And I was like, oh, you guys, that is exactly what our word was. So at the end, Lindsay is going to tell you something about her book and what we're going to share with you. So that's a little bit of a teaser. All right, so social media. And tonight, what we're specifically going to talk about are Facebook stories. And if you don't know what Facebook stories are, that's okay. Naomi's going to kind of walk you guys through that. But if you've ever been scrolling on Facebook and you see like Tammy has a story and Amy has a story, and you click on it and it's just like a little, I don't know, 1 or 2 second tidbit, or maybe a 20-second little video, and then it kind of moves to the next one, and then they disappear in 24 hours. Those are the stories. And so what we want to share with you is why we do stories and how they will help your business. So the psychology behind Facebook stories is that they're more of a get to know you tool that Facebook offers. I'm sure everybody notices that Facebook algorithms are always changing. And my husband just did a social media training with the police department, and he had somebody from Twitter there. And I don't know if the other person was from Facebook or not, but they said that Facebook has 1 million, like literally over 1 million different algorithms. So he's like, you're never going to figure them out. They're constantly changing, and there's millions of algorithms looking for like minutia. So we just have to kind of dismiss the story that the algorithms aren't working, because they're just never really going to work in our favor. So we're just going to embrace the things that Facebook has given us. And one of the things they've given us is stories. And I personally feel that stories get more reach for me than a Facebook post. And if you guys have heard me say this in the past, if you want to have a social media business, and not everybody does, and that's fine, but if you want to be on social media because it's convenient, you can do it from your phone, then you need to be social on social media. And part of being social on social media is showing your face. You've got to show your face on social media, because that is partly branding and how you are connected with people, how they connect Norwex to you. Because if somebody sees a microfiber cloth and they think, oh, Norwex, you want them to think, oh, Ashley sells Norwex. You don't want them to think, oh, microfiber. You want them to think of you. Okay. And so that's that's a major part of this. So if you're not showing your face and if you're not sharing your life, people aren't going to think about you. They're going to buy Norwex from the girl at the craft fair instead of, oh, I have a Norwex girl. Sorry. So feel free to type in the comments if you guys have anything. I'm just adding people in. Okay, so, uh-oh.
Being a bloodless, trackless animal mutilation. This gets me involved.
Make sure you're muted.
Oh.
That's a weird sound. Hold on. Okay, there we go. That was weird. When it comes to your social media and your face and your branding, we want to always be increasing engagement and interaction. And I think stories are a really great way to do that. So raise your hand if you've ever seen a poll or a question in somebody's story and you've responded to it. Has anybody ever done that? Or you've seen a poll or a question and they're like, what's your favorite season, spring or summer? And then you vote on it. Like that is engagement. Okay. That's interaction and that's connecting with the person who made it. Or sometimes people ask a question. They're like, what do you think of, what's your favorite Halloween candy? And then you actually have to type it in their little question box. That's that engagement and interaction. And the more people interact with you, the more they see your stuff. So that's what we're going for. So I know sometimes, especially in the last 2 years, we might feel like, oh, but when I'm on social media, I'm not really having like genuine connections because it's not face-to-face. We're not together in the same room. And sometimes that's a struggle for people. So what can connection look like with a stranger on the internet? And what we're trying to do with social media is add value. We want to put value out into the world because that's how people get to know us and feel connected to us. So when they see Ashley, they think, I see her, she's telling me her stories, she helps me see what's possible. She's creating a connection through her content because of what she's posting. And so when I see Ashley stuff, I feel like I know her a little bit more, even though we've never met in person, we've never sat over lunch, we've never had coffee together, but because of how she posts, I feel like I have a connection to Ashley. And I bet some of you feel that way about me because of what I post. And so one thing that I want you guys to think about is you might have a low belief about posting on social media. And you might be thinking, oh, my family might think I'm weird, or my friends might judge me, or people might not like that it's a MLM direct sales type business. And I just want to challenge you guys. You can do the same action, but have like two totally different belief systems. So you could post about Norwex, and this EnviroCloth is really awesome because it helped me clean up dog poop. But if it's from a belief of, oh, what if my cousin sees this and she's anti-MLM, and or what if my so-and-so sees this and what if I get hate on it? Like that energy is going to come through that post. I don't know how it does, but trust me, it does. Versus if you have the energy when you're posting of, I believe in this, I'm confident, I'm marketing and sharing to the people who do want to change their life, who are open to my, product and opportunity, that's going to come through your posts. So are you selling Norwex and the opportunity to the people who don't want it? Or are you selling Norwex and the opportunity to the people who do want it? And I promise you, if you can let go of some of your fears and insecurities, your people will find you. And the people who don't want it will stop following you. And that's exactly what you want. You want your people that are out there in the world to find you because you're being you and your authentic self. As long as you believe that you need, you create connection through your content and your own beliefs. So I just want to encourage you guys that what people want is authentic, real people in the world. People know now that social media has been around for so long that most of the time people just post the happy stuff, the fakey stuff, the stuff that's not real. So if the more real and the more you can be, like, let your freak flag fly and your people will find you. And those are the people that you're going to want to do business with, that you're going to want to have on your team. And I'll tell you, like, I feel like my sense of humor is a little raunchy. It's a little out there. It's a little weird. And I put that stuff out there to make people laugh and have fun. And I want to attract the people that think that's funny. Like if you don't get my humor, that's totally fine. But then maybe you're not my person. You know what I mean? And so when people see that, they might think, man, if I were to join Kelly's team or work with her, like we would have fun. Like she's a little crazy. So that's what I'm talking about. Okay. So hopefully I am making some sense, but I'm going to turn it over to Naomi because she is going to share with you guys exactly how to make stories and what her experience has been. And then Lindsay's going to take over and kind of tell you what we're doing. So I'm muting myself. Take it away, Naomi.
Okay, I'm Naomi. And a little bit about me and social media is that I was ready to quit Facebook a couple months ago. I full on posted, I'm done with this. This is such a negative space. I don't want to be here anymore. Ready to be done. And a few people reached out to me and said, well, why don't, instead of kind of just being here and in this negative space, why don't you try to make it a positive space for yourself and for everybody else? So since then, I've been trying to find ways to do that. And one of the ways has been through stories, not being salesy in stories, but just using them every day to show people what I'm up to or what I'm doing with my kids or how I'm cleaning or before and afters or funny memes or Enneagram things or things about myself. And yeah, so I've been having good results with it. One of the things is that a stranger reached out to me from one of my stories and asked me what is Norwex. And so I sent her some samples, and that was a connection that I wouldn't have had because I think I was just showing how I was cleaning something in my home. I wasn't trying to sell anything. It's prompted conversations about joining. I tried to post Debbie's call every 2 weeks. I've been sharing that and inviting people to that through my stories and other ways, but every other week. And then people have just asked me questions about the Norwex that they already have. So it's created some organic conversations that way too. So what my job is tonight is just to talk about stories and how to make one and what they are. So some of you are probably really familiar with it, but I'm going to talk as if you've never tried one before, because maybe some of you haven't. So how to find stories. It's similar on Facebook and Instagram, but you'll find it like at the top of your newsfeed. This is Facebook, they're little rectangles. On Instagram, it's a little bit different because it's like the profile photo of the people who posted the stories. Like Kelly said, they're just really quick, either pictures or stuff. This is Karen shared that one, so I stole it and put it on there. And then you tap to go to the next one. This is me, what I look like all day. And then the next picture, me 15 minutes before my evening Zoom meeting. One thing I also wanted to point out before I forget is when you see a story that has words on it and it goes too fast before you've got a chance to read it, all you have to do is hold your finger down and it'll pause it for you. So there is a sticker that I'm going to show you that sometime every once in a while when I have a lot of words on my stories, I'll even put that sticker on because some people don't know that. I didn't know that. I taught myself how to use stories just by playing around with it. So it's super simple. There is no wrong way to do it. It's fun and yeah, it's good to just play around with it. So hold it down is the way to do that. Like I said, when you're making a story, there are things like stickers or polls or ask me a question, or you ask a question, they answer kind of in like a text box. You can add music to stories, and if you are talking in a video or something, you can even add like closed caption so that the words pop up of what you're saying. If you post from Instagram, then it'll post to Instagram and Facebook for you. So that's what I typically do, because if I do it originally just from Facebook, then it only reaches part of my audience. So I tend to do most of my stories from Instagram. And I'm gonna do one as kind of a demo. So on Instagram, up here there's your messages and your notifications, and then that plus is where you would like make a post or a story or a reel or a live. So you click story. I'm gonna take a selfie of myself here with our team meeting. Okay, so there's my my picture I'm gonna use. And then I'm just gonna tap the letter A here, and that brings up a spot where I can type text, or if I just tap on it, then that comes up as well. So tell me what I should say here. Maybe leading a team training tonight. What do you think? Okay,
Yes.
so I typed it in. There's a few different fonts that you can scroll through down here. Do you have an idea, Lucy? I saw you unmuted.
Oh, I was just gonna say hashtag mom boss or something like that.
Yeah, so there's different fonts you can play around with. You can have it justified to the right or left or center, or you can make like a background sort of on it so that if there's a lot of colors on it, it makes it easier to read. But that's one of the things that's fun to play around with. So I'm gonna, and then you move it around with your finger, drag it wherever you want. I'm gonna add a sticker too. The stickers are the smiley face thing right there. And this is where you could like tag your location if you went for a hike or something and you wanted to say where you were, or tag a friend, or ask a question. You could put a GIF in or add music. I'm going to pick, oh, and then you can search for like sticker type things too. I found a sticker that says team meeting. I think I'm just going to use that, or meeting time. And it's kind of fun. Can you see that? No. It's kind of fun when things move on the screen. It gets a little distracting when there's more than one thing moving. So it's something to play around with, but it's sort of fun when there's something moving. So I think I'm going to keep it at that, a sticker and a little caption on it. And then you just add it to your stories, and that is a story. And what else do I want to say?
And now you've
Questions about
shared,
that?
I was just gonna say, now you've shared your business with
And now
your
sharing business
followers.
today. That's the thing that I've been trying to do lately is to share at least one fun thing that has nothing to do with Norwex or my business, and at least one Norwex thing that is either, and sometimes that's what I'm cleaning that day, or what my office looks like for the day, or I don't know, I'm sending out samples, do you want one, or something like that. And yeah, that's it. Does anybody have a question about like how to do a story that I could answer? Like I said, it's really, it's pretty simple. There's not really a wrong way to do it. And just play around with it is a really good way to start. Oh, Heather says I have trouble finding the cool stickers that others use. So they're in different places on Instagram and Facebook. It looks a little different. On Facebook, the options are actually like right down the side. So it says stickers up here. You can search stickers, GIFs, or emojis, or even your little avatar thing if you have one.
Oh,
Some
and one thing
stickers,
is,
like if you're looking for a theme, like tap to clean, or I don't know, a little sunshine or something, then you can usually search by keyword if you have an idea of what you're looking for, or you can just kind of scroll through and see what other people are
and
using.
notice that the stick, like when it's stickers is highlighted on Facebook, it's kind of just emojis. That's essentially what it is. You want to go to GIFs to get the cute things.
Yeah, that's true. I say GIFs because it's graphic. I know people
Is
say
it?
GIF, but I can't bring myself to say that.
I don't even know what it stands for. What does it stand for?
I think it's graphic something. But most people call it GIF, so.
Well, GIFs is phonetic because the soft G before an I, but I think it is graphic. I will say, just so you guys know, I've noticed like when Lindsay will post her story in Instagram and it auto posts to Facebook, if she has a poll or a question, I can't tap it or answer it. So if you're going to use a poll feature or a question feature and you want a response in Instagram and Facebook, then make it to like specifically post in Facebook and specifically post in Instagram. But if you're a beginner, you probably don't have to worry about that. And I don't do a whole lot on Instagram. So I typically post from Facebook because I'm a little older and Instagram isn't my jam.
That's a good point. Thanks, Kelly.
Naomi, where do you get your ideas for your Norwex one every day?
Good question. Well, okay, so here's the other thing. Sometimes it's not even Norwex or my business. It's something inspirational. Like I will share a post that I saw from Kristen Boss or from I don't know, no shame sales game or something. But anything that's like talking about network marketing in a positive way or talking about reaching goals or something, I would count that as a business thing, because even that I think it gets people thinking and it's encouraging and it's uplifting to myself too. So, so sometimes it's as easy as sharing something, and maybe I'll just go over that too. From Instagram, you can click on the arrow under a post and add a reel to your story or add a post to your story. And that's a really easy way to get a story going. Like, so, okay, this one says, being a mom is the hardest thing I've ever done. It also just so happens to be the greatest thing I've ever done and will ever do. So I'm gonna decide to share that. And add post a story. It shows up in that same spot. And sometimes I don't even bother adding anything to it. Sometimes I add a sticker, sometimes it doesn't really matter. So stories can be as simple as that too.
Do you ever copy people's stories?
Absolutely, all the time. So if somebody else has one, like even just a story that you want to take, a really easy way. It's not easy. You kind of need 3 fingers to do it. But let's see, Lindsay's right near the front. So here's her story. I'm not going to copy her kids. But the sky isn't the limit. Your belief system is. That's a really good one. So if I hold my thumb on it, it takes away her name from it. It pauses it so I can see it. And then I can take a screenshot of it by on my iPhone doing the power button and the home button. So this is where it gets tricky because you're holding onto the screen, but then you're also clicking those 2 buttons at the same time. And now I have a picture for my story tomorrow. So yes, you can take from other people or even just take their ideas. I've seen videos that people have filmed of themselves, and I've just taken the idea of what they said and then filmed myself saying that thing or a similar thing. And that's a story. If there are no more questions, then I can turn it over to Lindsay, but anybody else?
I have a question for you. Talking about your getting some business from your posts, like how much do you post? Talk to us about like the consistency factor and how long did you feel like you were consistent? What does that mean before you started getting some conversations?
Maybe after a couple days or a week of posting every day. I think I've been posting every day for at least a month now at this point. But after maybe a week was when I started. Yeah, so something with stories is you can even see who has looked at it. If you click on your own story, it tells you how many views it's had and then who has viewed it. And so that way I can see like who has been consistently watching my stories and therefore knows the things that I'm talking about, and it wouldn't be out of line to just reach out to them and even say, hey, I don't know if you saw what I posted last week, but I'm giving out samples. Do you want one? Or I don't know if you saw what I posted, but I noticed that you were doing this in your stories. Do you think that you could benefit from something like this? Or just something, it makes a nice list of people to follow up with. It's hard. I was talking to my husband about this, that like I have not seen like concrete evidence that this is helping, because I haven't, like, my sales haven't increased. I haven't signed up a new team member. I haven't gotten a new host, but it has started a lot more conversations. And even though there's no like proof that it's working, I know that it's working. It feels like it's working. It feels like I'm doing something right, because I also don't feel spammy. Like that is maybe the biggest thing, is that I'm not just posting Norwex flyers or buy this from me or whatever. I'm being really intentional about the things that I'm posting, and I'm not, when somebody said, like, don't pretend like your business or the thing that you sell is the most interesting thing about yourself. So I've tried really hard to balance the things that I'm doing day to day or the things that I enjoy, because nobody is just about their business. So why would we post that way? So
I love that.
So even just the practice of it, I think, is really helpful.
That's great. And Naomi, just to encourage you and everybody watching, if you've only been daily posting for 30 days, it takes 90 days always to see the fruit of your labor. Consistency compounds. So at your 90-day mark of posting every day, I think you're going to really start to get some traction. But what you're doing in your stories, what any of us are doing, is building trust and relationship and connection with our audience. And then Kristen Boss says, and this is something Lindsay and I have talked about and are like, I have to noodle this in my mind, but she says, if you have the same people watching your stories, watching you, and they haven't purchased you, hosted with you, or joined yet, but they keep watching you, it's because you have not answered an objection that they have in their mind. So you just keep posting and answering objections that people could have. Like one objection for Norwex could be it's too expensive. So how could you show that in a story or like a little short video? Somebody might think MLMs are a scam. Like, so there's all these objections that people have, and we just have to keep finding ways to solve for those. So awesome. Thank you, Naomi. Let's give her a hand. Lindsay just disappeared. Is she ready?
Am I back? Am I
I
here?
hear you, but I don't see you, but that's okay.
Uh-oh. Well, I turned off my Wi-Fi because sometimes it's a little sketchy. So
Okay, there you
hopefully my
are.
video will come back. Oh, good. Great. Okay, so this is a perfect segue because I'm here to address kind of your mindset in starting to put this forward. If you want to change how you appear on social media, if you want to use your social media to grow your business, then here's some things to remember and to keep in mind. So first of all, like Kelly and Naomi were saying, changing your social media presence doesn't change overnight. It doesn't happen overnight. You have to be consistent and you have to continue to show up. And that's because posting snowballs. The thing that I like about stories is the way that it works visually at the top of your phone, of your feed. The people that you tap and that you watch and that are consistently sharing stories, they line up at first in your queue of the top of the stories. So if you are creating content that people like and that relates to them, and you're doing it every day, you're going to be in the very front of their queue. I even, in my stories one day, I said, I'm just curious, where am I in your lineup? What number am I? And I heard 3, 4, 5. I was like, right, like first thing they see, which is so, so valuable. And you can do that once you start. If you're feeling a little bit uncertain, if people are seeing you, feel free to ask and they'll answer. And I love that. I think that not being just part of their scrolling, but instead being the first thing they see is a really powerful thing. Also, don't be discouraged if no one likes your story or if no one votes on your poll, especially in your first few days, first few weeks, first few months. People are still watching, and that number underneath at the bottom of your story will continue to grow on what number is watching. Don't be discouraged, because what you really do want is people seeing. It's great. And it's like over the top if people respond and like interact with you, but for what you really just want is people seeing you. Okay. And let me turn my page. Success takes consistency is what we're trying to develop in our posting on social media. And you want your followers to think, oh, Naomi has a story again. I want to see what she has to say. So you want to be creating content that is fun, that is you, especially, that's real. Like Kelly was saying, like, oh, Naomi's funny. She's sweet. She's real life. I like to watch her stories. And personally, I had a really encouraging someone tell me last week. She was reaching out about like ordering, and she said, first of all, your stories are so cute all the time. And I was just, oh, thank you. So that's what I'm going for, is I want to be encouraging people and I want to be helping people. Okay, here's a little tip. If you are not the kind of person who gets up every morning and puts on makeup and does your hair, batch your stories. Now, if you have Instagram, if you're on Instagram, here's a tip. You can actually save your stories to drafts. Woo! So you can create a story with your first idea, then you can create another one, save it to drafts, create another one, save it to drafts, create another one, save it to drafts, and then you can post them for the rest of the week. Facebook does not have that option, but you can also just record or create a picture, save it to your phone and post it to your Facebook stories later on. That's another thing that you can do. So batching is just the idea that you create more than one at a time. That's the best use of your time. Just like when you're creating samples for your customers, if you just sit down and do one, put one envelope together, fold it, put your cloths in, put the envelope, put the stamp on it, write the address, and go move on to something else. It's going to create so much more time than if you're doing it one at a time. At least, doing them back to back for a set amount of time. It's a more effective use of your time. Okay. My favorite thing to hear when I'm posting on social media is, I needed to hear that today. So that's a good test that what you're sharing is meaningful for your people. And also, don't be afraid to limit who's gonna like your content. Kind of what Kelly was saying. It's okay for people to decide that they don't want to follow you anymore. It's okay for people to not like one of your stories. Don't try to reach the whole world. Just reach who's your impact. Okay, my people that my why with Norwex is I want to reach young moms like me who have little kids. They're in diapers, dirty clothes all day long. So a lot of my stories are directed toward moms like me, and that's okay. People who it doesn't apply to them, they just tap right over, skip over it. Don't be afraid to limit, or not limit, focus who you are reaching. Okay, so this is where I'm gonna, so for me, my social media, why? I've kind of been thinking about this a lot. Why am I on social media? What is my intent? My social media why starts with people are lonely. People want connection and they want to be seen. So I can be a source of encouragement and solutions right in their pocket. When people are scrolling, when people are pulling out their phone, wanting to have something else speaking into their heads, I can be that, and I can be a light, and I can share for people. So that is my intent on being on social media, is to give people encouragement and solutions using what they see on social media. So tell yourself, when you post, tell yourself, what I have to share is valuable. Tell yourself, there is someone out there waiting to say yes to me today, because it is true. Start to change what you're thinking, because it will show in your stories. When you believe that you have something valuable and something powerful and you have something to solve a problem, it's going to change the whole feel of what you are doing on social media, just like Naomi decided to do. She decided to be the light. Okay, so now here's where you guys get to do this. Kelly and Naomi and I have been working quietly behind the scenes. Oh, did I have 3? Repeat number 3. What was my number 3? What I have to share is valuable. Someone is ready to say yes. I think those were the only 2, actually. Heather. Sorry. Anticlimactic. I gotta try. Kelly and Naomi and I have been behind the scenes creating a social media challenge with stories. And it starts tomorrow, right? I doubted myself when I wrote that down. It starts tomorrow. So Kelly is going to be sharing posts for the next week where you are going to be sharing stories, 2 stories a day. That's all you got to do. 1 personal story about your life and 1 about Norwex. If that starts to freak you out and say, oh, I don't know what to, I can't post 2 times a day, don't worry. We have it all planned out for you. We have exactly what you're going to say, exactly the ideas, the stuff you're going to put on your screen, the sounds, all of that. Okay. And you want to do it because the participation prize for this challenge is Kristen Voss's new book. So Kelly's going to be giving away Kristen Voss's book to one of you who participates. So who's excited? Who's excited to share their stories? And if you're scared, that's okay. You don't have to be excited right now, but I want you all to do it, to try it, to give it a try, because it's going to be wonderful. And hey, go to each other's stories this week and like them and comment on them. Okay. So that is all I had to share. We're so excited to see what you guys do with this. we're excited to see how you take this and run with it. And it's going to be a really fun time. So thanks for listening. Kelly, take it.
Oh my gosh, you guys, thank you so much. Wasn't Naomi and Lindsay just awesome? Awesome, awesome. And if you guys have any questions, I'm going to give you some Q&A time, but I want to let you know we have everything planned for you for 7 days of stories. In the morning, you could do this. In the nighttime, you can do this. Now, you don't have to use our ideas, but we are asking you to post twice a day for 7 days in your stories, a personal and a Norwex. And some of you are already doing this, so it will be no big deal. Maybe it'll make you a little more consistent. And for some of you, this is going to be way outside your comfort zone and you're going to feel really uncomfortable, and that's okay too. Because outside your comfort zone, just like Karen posted today, is where you grow. Now, like Lindsay said, maybe some people won't comment, maybe some people won't vote on your poll. Do not let other people's reactions dictate how you feel about it. You are just stepping out and trying something new. After the 7 days, our hope is that you will keep going and you will be inspired and you will just continue this, because like Naomi said, she's been doing this for 30 days. She's been getting conversations, eyeballs, people buying products from her. I've had somebody ask me about joining Norwex just because of my posts. And, so you just don't know, but you're building like trust and value with your audience. And so we're hoping that you guys are really excited about this because we spent a lot of time on this for you guys. Okay. So does anybody have any questions specifically about stories that you want to ask Lindsay or Naomi? Don't be shy. Ask anything. And this is a good prize. Kristen Boss's book is like $30. So it's going to go to somebody who actually does all the challenges. You got to be showing your face. I'm going to share with you guys, since you're here live, an example. All right. So here is day 1 morning. It says, here's a personal idea. Share a bit about your morning routine. Like, here's some ideas. How do you make your coffee? Do you go to the gym? Do you get your kids out the door? Do you eat breakfast? Do you read your Bible? Do you put on makeup? Like anything, it doesn't matter. Just something about your morning routine. And then the special feature we want you to use then would be like, just type some text over it. So then you can see in the example how Naomi was talking about that on that day, she went to the gym. She even kind of wove Norwex into it. You wouldn't have to do that, but she went to the gym in the morning and that was her morning. And then for day 1, your later in the day Norwex post is clean something. Show a before and after picture of you cleaning something. Could be your stovetop. It doesn't really matter. And then we want you to use, like, get fancy and use a sticker that says tap to clean on the first image. And then on the second image, it's clean. So I'm sure you guys have seen that. If there's any confusion or question when we post these, please just ask in the comments and we will help you guys. So we have 7 days of those. I'm so excited. All right. Any last questions before we go? You're excited? Who's going to do the 7-day challenge? Oh, one last thing. I realized that Easter is in the 7-day challenge. So there's a couple ways to think about Easter. Heather, I'm going to post them in Team Summit. I'll just post them every, I'll probably have to post them the night before. I don't know. Should I post them all? I'll have to post them one at a time. Maybe the night before so you can do the morning one. I don't know. Don't ask me detailed questions, Heather. You know I don't do those. So let's talk about Easter Sunday. I am encouraging anybody who is working their business you can still like throw up a story on Easter. Maybe it doesn't have to be the one that we suggest. Like maybe we'll just bump it back a day, but you can still share in your stories about your life. Because I am like 98% sure everybody's going to be going to church or having an Easter egg hunt or seeing a bunny or eating, like you're going to be doing something. and you can put that in your story. Like it still can be something personal. It doesn't have to be Norwex related. You can take a day off from that, but you can still share in your story. And there's going to be a lot of Easter egg hunts in your stories on Facebook and Instagram on Sunday, but that's okay. People want to see, they want to see what you guys are doing. So that's it. Any questions? I'm going to go post it right now. Yay, Rose. I'm so excited. And if you are somebody who doesn't normally post a lot on social media, you might have a little bit slower traction, but this is what consistency is all about. You got to start somewhere. Okay. All right. Have a great night, guys. Love you all so very much. If you have any questions, let us know. Lindsay and Naomi are the true masterminds. They're so talented. Ask them. Don't ask me. Okay.
Night.
Bye, guys. Good night. Thanks, guys.